It was an Alaskan bullworm!
What's up guys, my name is Timbo and welcome to another episode of The Mystery Behind. Over the past few days I've been getting many comments on YouTube, tweets on Facebook, PSN messages, faxes, pigeons, of essentially all the same things. Where's this video? Can you talk about this? Explain please. Don't worry guys, I got you. Many of you in particular want me to talk about Trials of the Nine, and I can assure you that video will be coming soon, but I have already made 2 videos on Xur and the Nine that, despite being made before the game came out, are still relevant. So I decided to put that topic on the back burner so I can make this video. And because sea monsters are dope. And yes, you did hear that right. If somehow you clicked on this video but yet weren't aware this was a thing, then I will explain. There is a sea monster on Titan. Either that, or this is perhaps the worst texture for a wave I have ever seen. As of right now, there are 2 instances where you can go and see the creature. See what I did there? See, like, with your eyes, but then it's also a see. Okay, I'll stop. The first of which was discovered by Reddit user Necrohydra, who saw this while sitting idle in the mission titled Utopia on Titan. Is this silhouette a huge discovery? Well, yeah, it certainly is. But this is what I want to know, guys. How come he didn't pick up the CPU? Bungie puts an objective on a pretty shiny like that, and this man is just all content like, you know, I think I'll just sit here and do nothing. That's how I play video games. I don't understand you, Necrohydra. But man, do I envy your patience. The second of which is from YouTuber Gamer for Eternity. In the clip that I opened this video with, one can get a second view of the creature breaching the waves of Titan for a split second, only to sink back down into the methane depths. From looking at these clips comes many questions. What is this creature, or creatures? Where did it come from? Does it want to kill my face? Now at this point in time, there simply isn't enough information out there to know for sure. But what we can do is theorize. As always in these videos, I have compiled ideas from various places of the internet, included my own interpretations, and compiled everything you need to know into one video. So without further ado, let's get into the theories. What I want to go over first has to do with the creature's origins. Once we're done with that, we will get into any relevance or importance it has going forward into Destiny's narrative. Now look, there are multiple things this creature could be. Technically, it could be anything. But while that is true, I think there's really only one worth talking about. While some ideas such as the Nine or the Ahamkara have been thrown out there as possibilities, I personally believe that this is clearly a hive worm, potentially a worm god even. Now you might think it's one of the other 2 options I glossed over, or potentially something else. But I don't know, I just feel that with this one, there's just way too much evidence suggesting worms. So with that being said, let's explain the hive worms to people that aren't familiar with them. The hive worms, much like Shrek, have different layers to them. The basic worms are just those gross little creatures you see slithering all around the Dreadnought and the Taken King. They are larvae living in each and every single hive that has ever existed, both back then and now getting 360 schlong banged repeatedly by you.
Fatality.
Unless the hive can supply constant conquest and destruction for these larvae to feed off of, they will grow unsatisfied and consume that hive creature instead from the inside out. I know, that's disturbing. So here's a picture of some puppies to get your mind off of it. You're welcome. These small worms are the larvae of the worm gods. To give you perspective, these worm gods are the highest hive deities, beyond the likes of Crota, Leviathan, and Oryx. They are an ancient species that dwell deep under the oceans of the gas giant Fundament. It is also worth mentioning that despite calling themselves worms, the worm gods describe themselves as having jaws and wings, and that they are of massive size and strength. Now if you look at the silhouette again, there is a clear resemblance between a picture of a worm and that we see in the footage. With all of this evidence, I am convinced that this has to deal with the hive in some way, shape, or form. The hive are the main enemy on Titan. The resemblance from the worm to this creature is spot on. It just all adds up to me. The funny thing is that when I first heard about this, I assumed that this creature would be the boss of Destiny 2's raid. It was called Leviathan, and the definition of Leviathan is a very large aquatic creature. Upon discovering Callus and his world-eating ship, however, I looked at the second definition, which defines Leviathan as a thing that is very large or powerful, especially a ship. With that being said, both Callus's ship and the sea creature we see on Titan can be referred to as a Leviathan. And it is at this time where I reach out to you on my Twitter. Okay, I'm holding a poll to vote for this creature's name. He doesn't have one right now. He's in need. And I believe it is an integral part of our civic Destiny community to give this vile creature a name. All of which start with an L, so it's catchy with Leviathan. So make sure to click the link and vote. Personally, I like Larry because it rhymes with Gary, but that's just me. This isn't going to be the name Bungie has for it, I'm sure. But it's gonna be our little thing, guys. We can always refer to him this way. No one else is gonna understand, okay? It's gonna be great. But getting back on track, even if this is a worm of sorts, what does it want? And is there only one of them? Well, while on patrol, you can stumble on this terminal where your ghost will say this.
This system used to detect underwater vessels looking to dock here at the shipyard. That's strange. It still works, and it's picking something up. Something below us. And very, very big.
Does this confirm that there is only one of these hive worms lurking beneath the depths of Titan? Not necessarily, but if you're asking me, I think it does. If there were more than one, I believe Ghost would have been speaking in plurals. But now, where do we go from here? It is at this point where we discuss what this can all mean for the future of Destiny 2. Right off the bat, I'm going to start with the most boring possibility of the bunch, that this is just an Easter egg and will amount to absolutely nothing. While lame, it is entirely possible. Easter eggs big and small are thrown into games all the time, so it's possible that this is nothing to get excited about. While I think we would all like to fight this guy one day, because that's all us Destiny players like to do is shoot mans in the face, you have to consider the fact that this could just be Bungie's Megalodon. But opting out of that option and hoping that this leads to something, what could that something be? Firstly, we can assume that this is just how the Worm Gods will be introduced into Destiny. They've been mentioned before, but have never been able to make an appearance. Having them as an Easter egg now is a good way to bridge the gap between now and their formal introduction in some future DLC or expansion. And while in my opinion that is most likely, there is one more theory that I want to talk about that I find incredibly fascinating. The theory I'm referring to here is that the worm seen swimming in Titan's ocean belongs to Oryx, the Taken King. In the King's Fall raid, upon defeating him, you see his dead carcass float away into space. I remember seeing people speculating something like this way before Destiny 2 even came out. They were able to make the connection that Titan, being a moon to Saturn, could be a potential location for Oryx's body to land. At that time, they thought that the Hive were using it as some big ritual spot, which, at least as of right now, isn't a thing. But maybe, just maybe, Oryx did land on Titan, where his worm survives beneath the surface. So guys, let me know, what do you think of this theory? Could this sea monster be the 9, Ahamkara, a worm god, an Easter egg, or perhaps the Taken King himself? Let me know down in the comments below. Make sure to follow the link to my Twitter in the description to vote and give this creature a name. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.